Hey, classmates, this is Deanna.
Hello, everybody. This is Brett, and welcome back to episode 62 of Hard Lessons True Crime Podcast. A little different this week, huh?
Yes, it was like flashback to news radio or something.
Yeah. Teach and I found that great show from the 90s the other evening on Pluto.
Yes,
And yeah, it just took me back to Phil Hartman days. Hello, everybody.
that was pretty cool, though.
Thank you. It just wasn't even planning on it. You said hello, classmates, and I was like, wait, hello, everybody.
Felt pretty formal.
Yeah. Well, as if anybody knows us knows that we're the most formal people.
Uninformal.
Uninformal. See, we're so unformal that we're uninformal. Don't come here for news updates, okay?
Or grammar, pronunciations, or
What is
whatever.
words?
Yeah,
Who told us to start a podcast?
you did.
That's the answer you always give me, but I just don't know who told me to start a podcast.
All the other podcasters that you reached out to.
Yes, do it. It'll be great.
It'll be fun,
Bunch
they
of
say.
liars they are.
No, quiet.
It is fun. I'm having a blast
Remember,
with
you live by what you speak.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And here at Hard Lessons, we randomly ramble.
Yes. Especially on them rambling days.
Especially on those rambling days. That's right. Let's see. Teach, how was your week?
The week was pretty good. Stayed mostly busy. Had a headache part of the week. Like a really bad one. So I stayed home and got some much needed rest. Like
Almost 18 hours.
yes, like crazy. And then I was back in bed by 10. Very tired. Very, very, very tired.
It's what I like to call this time of year end of schoolitis.
Yes, but I also was trying to finish up college, trying to stay level with all my other teachers at school, trying to do all the things that they're doing, and I freely admit
You was worn out.
I can't keep up.
Yeah.
I really can't. And I tell people, yeah, no, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Exactly.
I didn't do it. Sorry.
Well, speaking of news updates, classmates.
But I did get my contract.
Number one, Teach got her contract for next year, so she will be willfully employed.
Yes, and number 2, I will graduate May 17th.
She has finished her work.
Yep.
A couple of webinars to do. She's taken her final quiz and aced it.
Yep.
So congratulations to Teach.
Like, yeah, now we can move on to whatever it is that you were going to talk about.
We were going to talk about stuff.
Yes.
So
let's get started. Do you have a would you rather? No. Do you know? That doesn't sound right.
More
Or you know. This is how needless this information is because I don't even know what it's called.
I guess that we might as well just do away with that segment if Teach don't even know what it is.
I told you all that stuff was going to be filed into that needless information filing system, and I was correct. There it was.
You never know when you're going to end up on Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader?
We can't even do the game. Those questions are hard.
They are very.
Like, I don't know what country these 5th grade questions are from, but
yeah,
they ain't from here.
And it wasn't the 5th grade I remember.
No.
Miss Spain lied to us. Of course, it was her first and only year to teach, but I don't know if that has anything to do with it or not. So.
And she chose 5th grade to be her first year, huh?
Yeah, she came straight to us from Texas Tech University, if that tells you what kind of year we had. Young 23-year-old, 24-year-old, first time ever teaching.
She was floating, like, above all the things. Like, she was barely to keep the papers coming in and graded.
She, her sister came one day, I don't know and sit in on the class with us. And her sister was like, "Well, I'll just go through this book and use it." And Miss Spain said, "Oh, you can't do that one." And she was like, "Why not?" And she said, "Well, because that's the teacher's edition. It has the answers in it. How am I supposed to know if they're right or not?" Well, because you're the teacher, you're supposed to know the answers already.
Well, if that is not your content specific.
Yeah, but see, back then they didn't have separate classes in or at least here in Pampa.
Oh.
Your teacher taught you history. She taught you math. She taught you English. She taught you science. The only thing she didn't teach you was PE and music.
Oh. I'm like thinking back to my 5th grade, and we
Switch classes.
traded classes. We had our homeroom, and then we had like a reading spelling teacher and a science teacher, I think. Maybe a history one too. It's been too long ago.
That's crazy.
Dude, I got the teacher book. Some of that stuff is like, I don't even know what that question means.
True.
I'm that teacher. Like, hold up. Let's Google and see what this means. So,
Are we ready? The more you know.
Okay.
Ready?
Yes. Classes in session. I think we need a new bell.
Maybe we need a new bell ringer. I don't know.
The more you know.
The more you know. Octopus. You love all kinds of animals.
Yes. This one dude has one as a pet, I think.
Really?
Yes. And they are so incredibly smart. The dude put a bottle with a screw top lid or like a pop top lid. So it was plastic to see if the octopus could open it and squeeze down in there because he put like a little shrimp or something in it. Yep.
Got it.
Yep, in less than a minute.
Oh, wow.
He had it open. Already ate his prize.
That is crazy.
It is. Okay, back to it.
Octopuses have 3 hearts.
Oh.
2 of them pump blood to the gills, and the third circulates it through the rest of the body.
Oh, how cool.
Yeah.
They, like, for those tiny ones, and then they grow. Like, those giant ones in the ocean, like, they must be massive.
It must be. Well, we did early on, we did a more you know on a blue whale's heart.
Yes.
Do you remember that one?
Yes.
They're enormous.
Yes.
They could weigh as much as 400 pounds, just the heart.
Yikes.
That's about an enlarged heart.
I wonder if they get to have heart disease.
Imagine.
But they eat healthy fish, so.
And they swim a lot, so they get exercise.
Yes, and then when you're swimming really fast, that gets your heart pumping. There's your cardio.
So they could live for thousands of years, I bet.
I don't think thousands of years.
Come on now. All right. Well, this week, probably one of the best guys I ever knew. See, randomly ramble. Ever knew.
You nude?
I ever knew. Took his last breath. And when I say this guy was a good guy, that's an understatement. I had known him to be in the middle of doing a project or working on something or doing something for him, and somebody call up and say, "Hey, I know you're probably busy, need help, like 10, 15 minutes, blah, blah." And he's off and gone to help him out. I'm talking about Jason Toad Garth. Do not call him Jason. He will not answer to you. When he was born, first time his grandpa saw him, he said, "Well, that looks like a little toad." And so he went by Toad from then on. You could stand by him for 20 minutes and saying, "Jason, Jason, Jason, Jason." Toad. "Oh, hey, how you doing? When'd you get here?" Just one of the best. His wife, Sheryl, she and I have known each other since kindergarten, maybe. Her cousin, Chris, has been my best friend since kindergarten. She and I grew up together. Classmates, y'all will know Chris. His daughter Lainey is the one that designs our shirts and stuff for us, which we do have a couple of extra new ones out. But Toad is just was was just a good man, a great example. He and Sheryl had just last month celebrated their 28th wedding anniversary. They have 3 children and 2 grandchildren, and I mean our hearts are heavy here this week at Hard Lessons. And I really don't think there was nothing that Toad couldn't do. When I first met him, was about the time that I was starting to think about, I'd like to have a set of golf clubs and go out and learn how to play golf. Well, Toad was an avid golfer, and he and Sheryl had just been married a few months. And the house they lived in was a small house, a little 1 bedroom, 1 bath house right next to a park. And so Toad grabbed his driver and a tee and a couple of golf balls, probably 3 or 4 golf balls. And he said, let's go out in the front yard. So we went out there and he put a tee in the ground and set a ball on it. And he said, just watch me. He hit that ball. And this was in 97, 96, 97. This was a while ago. I don't think that ball has landed yet. I saw it go over the top of trees, and then I saw it arc and start to come down, and then I never saw it again.
What park was it?
Priest Park, over behind the old Easy's Pop Shop. That park.
Okay, yeah. Nice.
And he said,
Had to have been
okay.
after 97, because that's when they got married.
Yeah. He said, now, you do it. Your turn.
Oop.
And I had only held a putt-putt club. I'd never held a driver or anything, but I watched him. I was like, okay, and I've watched a couple of golf tournaments, so,
He's a pro.
yeah, I got this. Toad can do it. I can do it. So he hands me his club, and I put a ball down, and I line it up. Started to do the little Happy Gilmore run and hit it, but I was like, no, don't show off your first time. And I swung that golf club, and I looked up, and Toad said, what are you looking for? I said, the ball. And he said, well, look down.
You totally missed it.
I hit it. It just bounced right in front of the tee 3 or 4 times and stopped.
Why does it do that?
Because I looked up too soon to look for it. And so instead of hitting the ball squarely, I hit the top of it and just kind of.
So you got to do the follow through.
Right. And so Toad was like, a couple of things. You see how you're standing? Yeah. Well, this leg needs to be here. That leg needs to be there. Kind of need to bend your knees a little bit. Don't be stiff. Kind of bend your knees. And he said, and on how you're holding the golf club. I said, what's wrong with that? And he told me, it's like holding a bird. You want to be firm enough that it won't fly away, but yet you don't want to pop the head off either. Okay. And so I made a few adjustments, and he said, okay, yeah, that looks good. He said, now one thing else, okay? Do not look up until the club is eye level with you. And then you can look up. I was like, oh, okay. Line up, measuring the ball, swing. Hit it. I heard it. Look up. It didn't go as far as Toad's, but it didn't bounce 3 or 4 times either.
Hey.
So Toad was a natural. loved horses, loved the old cowboy way. Manners was huge to Toad. When I first met him, and Teach and I don't talk about our past and stuff a lot because it's our past. But Teach is my second wife. And when I met Toad, I was married to my first wife, and her and Sheryl, Toad's wife, were best friends. And we had gone out to eat with them and was maybe going to the movies or maybe a haunted house. It was around Halloween, so there was a couple of sponsored haunted houses around town. So maybe it, and my ex had asked me a question, and her and Sheryl was sitting in the back seat, and Toad and I were in the front seat. And I said, "Yeah, that sounds good." And Toad kind of gave me a look. I was driving on, and he said, "Can I ask you something?" "Sure." He said, you love her, right? Love her enough to marry her and put a ring on her and take care of her?" I said, "Yeah." "Why don't you love her enough to respect her instead of saying, yeah, why not yes, ma'am? Why not no, ma'am, if the answer is no?" And that was Toad. Manners was important to him, and he wasn't afraid to call somebody out, but do it respectfully also at the same time and make you think. And so all these years later, Teach and I have been married 23 years now. And to this day, when she asks me something, it's either yes, ma'am, or no, ma'am, because of Toad. And so this week, we are going to post this episode in memory of Toad. We're going to miss you, big man. But also, we know that you weren't sappy. And so we're going to hopefully bring a smile to Sheryl and their three children's face, and anybody else that knew and loved Toad, and maybe just give them at least a brief moment of levity.
Absolutely.
So when I was a cop, I ran into Toad one day, and he said, "Do you have a copy of the state laws?" And I said, "Yeah, yes, sir. I got a penal code."
Yeah.
I probably quickly changed it to yes, sir. "I've got a copy of the penal code at the house. You want me to look something up for you? Is it true that it's against the law to walk around with wire cutters in your pocket?" "I'll have to get back with you on that." And so, sure enough, it was true. It came from back in the 1800s and
Now, is
cattle
this for
wrestling.
Texas?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Cattle wrestling days and stuff like that, and it just never was removed.
So it's one of those unique laws that has remained in place.
Right. And I got to thinking about it when I was researching this week's topic. I wonder if it's still on the books. So I looked it up, and I don't know if if it listed this back then and I just overlooked it, or what the deal is. But surely if they would have changed it, they would have just taken it off the books.
Mm-hmm.
But when I looked it up the other day, apparently it's only illegal in the city of Austin. So,
Just in the city of Austin?
yeah. So it said it is unique to Austin. So, Aliqua, before you get out and wander around, you take those wire cutters out of your pockets.
Those cops probably don't even know it either.
Right.
I wonder why just Austin.
Maybe because that's the state capital, and they thought, well, this is fun. Let's leave it in here, but let's just make it for I don't know. I don't know.
You would have thought it would have been for the whole state.
Right.
Because cattle thieving, horse livestock.
Happened not just in Austin.
Yeah, I mean it's rampant even way back then, and
Yes,
that's
ma'am.
why they started putting up fences. And so,
No telling.
Yep, no telling.
And so for anybody that may be just turning in for the first time this week, like I said at the beginning, I'm Brett.
I'm Deanna.
My gorgeous wife Deanna. During the episode, you'll hear me call her Teach. And so how we set this up to try to make ourselves separate from all the other true crime podcasts. So Teach naturally is a teacher.
In sense of the word.
I am a former law enforcement officer. I spent 10 years in law enforcement. And on our podcast, I play the part of a student in her classroom. And the cases that I bring each week, I bring in the form of a book report. And at the end, when I'm finished, Teach will give me a grade. I'm always shooting for an A. I never have got a failing grade. This in 61 episodes that have been published and recorded and done, I haven't failed yet. So hopefully number 62 will keep that streak going. And we have a bowl that has 3 topics in it. So each week I'm either going to do a true crime that happened here in the United States. That's one of the topics, true crime. The other topic is international true crime, and that's self-explanatory. It's a true crime case that happened anywhere outside the United States. And then the third choice is host choice. That's where I get to pick the topic. It can be true crime. Usually in the past I've done cryptids. I've done some paranormal stuff, Driscoll Hotel, different places like that. Some medical mysteries. And so this week it is a host choice where I get to decide what topic to do. And so thinking back to my buddy Toad and him asking me that about the state law, in today's episode, we are going to look at weird laws from other states across the United States.
Nice.
That are actually on their law books.
Nice.
So number 1, Alabama. Going alphabetical order here.
Alphabetical.
In Alabama, and this could be good to know, anybody that's driving through there, it is illegal to drive while blindfolded. Now, there's a phrase that says keep your eye on the road. Alabama maybe is taking that to the next level and making sure that you keep your eye on the road and get the blindfold off when you're driving through.
Okay, so my natural question would be,
why?
Who thought it would be a good idea to drive blindfolded in order for Alabama to have to initiate this law?
Well, who in our late teens, early 20s didn't play a game of truth or dare?
I would have to bow out of that one.
Right.
Nope, I don't want to die. I don't want to kill nobody.
There was a movie back in the mid to late 80s. And it was 3 buddies. One of them was blind. And there was a scene where their car is on the beach and there's a cop and he's talking to one of the guys that wasn't blind. And he was like, "You mean your blind?" The cop says, "You mean your blind friend was the one that was driving?" "Yes, officer." And the blind friend walks by, and blind doesn't see the car and fell over into it. "Why were you letting a blind man drive?" "Because he was the only one sober."
Yikes.
Yeah.
Yikes.
So moving on.
Okay.
Alaska. It'd be very hard for a Texan to go to Alaska and not be able to follow this law. You cannot put any animal in the back of an open vehicle. Here in Texas, we love to put our dogs in the bed of the truck and take off. In Alaska, you cannot do that.
That's the weirdest law?
That's the weirdest law they could come up with.
I'm trying to figure out why. What's the purpose? Oh, well.
Maybe they care more about their animals, don't want to see them jumping out. Maybe it has to do with grizzly bears.
Okay.
They have a lot more grizzly bears in Alaska than we do in Texas.
So they don't reach back there and just eat their dog.
Yeah.
Maybe so. We're just gonna make it up, and maybe that's what it is.
In Arizona, it's illegal for a donkey to sleep in a bathtub.
Okay.
You're gonna need some explanations, right?
A lot of explanations happening.
In the 1920s, a local dam broke and it flooded a rancher's home. The rancher's donkey, because of this, became accustomed to sleeping in the bathtub, filled with water, and whisked him miles away. After working to rescue the animal, the town passed a law that prohibits donkeys from sleeping in a bathtub.
Okay.
Maybe you can hook a shower up into one and give them a shower, but make sure they stay awake. Don't want to be chasing no donkeys.
What if you have a bathtub as you have water in it, as their water trough
Like
or
a
something,
water trough?
and it just gets in there?
I mean, I'm sure there's citations, where they can say,
Who in the world has flipping time to be running around? Why is your donkey sleeping in your tub? I don't know why it's sleeping in the tub.
You'll have to ask the donkey.
I mean, literally.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. What year was that?
It was in the 1920s.
So.
Give them a little bit of a pass?
No.
No.
No, because I'm going to pause my life to write somebody a ticket because their donkey is sleeping in a bathtub.
Could you imagine being a cop and sitting in your patrol car and you see a bathtub floating down the road with a sleeping donkey in it?
Well, first of all, if you're still sitting in your truck or your car and it's flooding and you're seeing a donkey floating by in the bathtub,
I'd be looking at my water bottle like,
I would be pausing for some serious thought of maybe I should not be sitting here in this car as it's flooding.
in Arkansas, you cannot honk your horn near a sandwich shop after 9 p.m. So okay. Jimmy John's,
why?
Subway. I'm thinking the hangry person had something to do with this one.
After 9 p.m.?
After 9 p.m.
But maybe something bad happened. There's got to be some odd reason why these things are still around.
That's right.
I don't understand that one.
And usually, I haven't been to Arkansas since I was about, 12, 13 years old. But I do know here in Texas, Subway and other sandwich shops that I can think of, Hoagie's Deli, they're closed by 9. So who's going to be there to report if somebody honked the horn in front of them?
That's why I'm there's got to be some dumb reason why.
Leslie, another classmate of Sheryl and I, Leslie Oden, she lives in Arkansas. Need you to let me know about that one, young lady. Now in California, if you have a canary that likes to fly out of its cage and out an open window or door or what have you, don't go around looking for it and whistling before 7 o'clock in the morning. You will be ticketed. It is illegal to whistle for a lost canary before 7 a.m. According to the article, they're not entirely sure how this bizarre law came about. But according to California.com, in the city of Berkeley, California, you are prohibited from whistling for your lost canary before the wee hours of 7. So hold tight to your canary. Remember, it's like a golf club.
Don't want to pop its head off.
Don't want to pop its head off.
Well, they used to use canaries to test gases down in mines. They would lower them down, and then if the bird didn't come back alive, you're like, yeah, we ain't going down there.
Don't send anybody down that one.
But if you would whistle or something like that, and it whistled back, or then it was okay.
Well, that makes sense.
Because you knew that they could breathe, that you would be able to breathe.
Yes, ma'am.
And so maybe
it stems from that. Maybe so. Now, you colorful people in Colorado, do not have a couch on your front porch.
I literally want to drive around the state of Colorado, especially in the big cities.
Looking for couches
There's
on front porch.
On them front porches.
I almost guarantee it.
Does that include even just sitting in the yard?
It just says front porch.
Oh, dude. How funny would that be? Somebody pull up and be like, hey, you need to get that couch off the front porch. Why? Because it's illegal. And they just kick it off. Like, well, it's not on the porch no more, so now it's not illegal.
Absolutely.
That's a dumb one. I don't understand that either.
Well, you can thank the fine folks in Boulder at the University of Colorado because they burnt some couches that was on a porch. And then, shockingly, the house caught on fire. Who would have seen that coming? So Colorado just said, okay, you know what? Don't put a couch on your front porch. Then it won't catch fire, and it won't catch your house on fire.
Why were they catching them on fire to begin with? To see
college kids.
Okay, so it wasn't like an experiment or anything.
No, I'm sure there might have been a few Rocky Mountain waters involved in that one.
Thinking a lot more than that, but yep, okay, that makes sense.
Now, Connecticut. Mm-hmm. I don't know what's going on up there. I don't know. I just don't know. But it is illegal.
Mm-hmm. That's the word.
Thank you. To sell a pickle before you can prove that it can bounce. You don't want no flat pickles. A pickle must be able to bounce before it is sold. Can you imagine going to the grocery store and saying, I need you to open that jar before I purchase it?
This is what I'm thinking. How in the world do you buy a jar of pickles?
Exactly.
Do you have to test this pickle to see if it even bounces before you can sell it? Or are they talking about the individual, like at fairs or wherever where you could buy an individual one? And then I'm not going to buy a pickle somebody threw on the ground.
Yeah, they're going to have to get a clean plate and drop it on it.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
In 1948.
Oh, here we go.
2 men were arrested for selling pickles that were, in quotes, unfit for human consumption.
Okay.
Discussing ways to check for a good pickle, officials declared that a pickle is legitimate only if it bounces.
Does it say how far?
The pickles in question did not bounce, so the 2 men were arrested and the pickles were destroyed.
Destroyed?
Pardon me, I'm sorry.
I'm just flabbergasted that ancestors thought this would be a good law.
Well, hold on to your hat for the next one.
Oh, gosh.
In Delaware.
Oh, gosh. Them people are weird up in there.
What is going on in New England? You can't sell your dog's hair.
Okay, please tell me there's an explanation behind this. Was somebody selling their dog's hair as real human hair to somebody and come to find out they were allergic and broke out in a huge hive or something?
There is no explanation.
Oh my gosh.
Just state residents of Delaware are barred from selling the hair of their dog or cat.
First, who would want to buy the hair of an animal like that?
Exactly.
What's it for? Gross. Talk about hoarding. Ugh.
Yes, ma'am.
Disgusting.
So let's travel on down to the southern states for a minute.
Okay.
Georgia.
All right.
It is illegal to live on a boat for more than 30 days. So 29 days, you're good. That 30th day, you got to be going.
Okay, what if people actually literally do live on their boat?
You can't live in Georgia.
Do you just, for 29 days, live on the boat and then, like, for one night you go sleep somewhere else and then it starts over the next day?
That's how I would read it.
Like, I need to know why these laws are around.
Right. Now
It's very confusing.
this one just makes sense. This is not a good idea, and I can't believe that they had to have a law.
Well, you gotta think about what year it was.
And there really is,
There's rules against, this is not consumable. So please don't eat this. Or
right.
caution hot.
Yeah. You go and buy a cup of coffee and they have printed on there, contents are hot. People, come on.
Yeah, really.
Hawaii.
Okay.
It's illegal to put a coin in somebody's ear.
Okay.
Can you imagine how boring their magic shows are?
Oh my gosh. First of all, that's behind your ear, not in it.
Oh, dang it.
Um,
I ruined a pretty good joke.
why? Why? Who is putting coins in their ears? Did they get infected or something? Did they die of, like, whatever poisoning, copper poisoning? I mean, I need to know.
Yeah.
Not that there's a whole lot of copper in anything anymore, but
When the Kingdom of Hawaii officially joined the United States, it was already on the Kingdom of Hawaii's real rules. So
okay.
it just stayed.
Huh. I need details on these.
I'm going to skip Idaho's because that one's just not funny at all.
Why? Is there more than one?
No.
Oh, okay.
In Idaho, it's illegal to sweep debris into the street. I mean, that's called littering. It's illegal everywhere, in my way of thinking.
Wow.
In Illinois,
They're kind of boring then. I was going to go for something about it was illegal to steal potato or something.
right? Can't sleep in a potato field more than 15 nights in a row. In Illinois, not Illinois,
Illinois.
in Illinois, it is legal, is
Is?
legal. If you're underage, you can drink alcohol if you're a culinary student at a culinary college. You would think that would be an old law.
Yeah,
It was passed in 2012.
there you go. So
The
that's really going to prevent underage drinking.
right. The law is nicknamed Sip and Spit. Allows culinary students under 21 years of age to legally taste by sipping
Spitting it out.
and spitting it out. Based on the reasoning that students need to learn how to taste wine during their early years of culinary school.
Okay. I mean, that makes sense, but I don't understand. Okay, whatever.
Talk about a well-rounded education.
I'm like, ugh, whatever.
So this next law, would be something that I could see Toad enjoying. In Indiana,
Okay. State of Indiana.
it is illegal to ride a horse faster than 10 miles per hour.
Why?
Apparently, back in the early 1900s, they had high-speed horse races
Okay.
that led to several deaths.
Okay.
So,
Well, I mean, I
you
can
got to
see
keep your
that.
horse at 9 miles per hour and under.
Okay.
Do they have speedometers, horse speedometers?
No, but Pretty sure you can tell if your horse is racing.
Right.
I don't think you're going at a good trot.
Now this one, again, common knowledge. In Iowa,
I'm going to say that these are not, whatever, common. These are stupid.
you can't throw a brick onto the highway.
Okay, let me guess. I mean, other than why would you be standing on the side of a highway road and throwing bricks?
Right.
Because, that's common sense. Somebody stupid did it.
Somebody stupid did it. Now, you can if you get written permission from the city council. Hey, Mr. Councilman, this guy that owes me $50 is going to be driving down I-10 here in a little bit. Mind if I go out there and chunk some bricks? You betcha. Here's your permit.
I would. So these are all statewide, right?
Yes.
I'd like to know some stupid city ones.
Maybe that'll be another episode coming up.
Okay.
Next. Well, I've already got the next host choice picked out, but maybe it'll come up in future host choice.
Okay.
In Kansas, a little bit closer to home here.
Yep.
Tire screeching is banned.
Like the peeling out?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm sure that has something to do with some old stick in the mud person that, you kids get off my lawn and quit making them tires squeal. It's 8:30 and I'm trying to go to sleep.
Something. Maybe there was just a huge issue with that drag racing, or, I don't know. It denotes high speed chases and races.
Right.
Maybe that was their idea behind it.
Very well could be. Sticking with the K-States, Kentucky.
Kentucky.
This is one of those that hopefully third time's the charm rule.
Phew.
It is illegal for a woman to marry the same man more than 3 times. Now, it doesn't say that the man can't marry a woman, but the woman can't marry the man.
More than 3 times.
More than 3 times.
Okay, so you
Marry,
get married
divorce,
to
marry,
the
divorce,
third.
marry,
Yes.
divorce.
So like after the third time, it's like, all right, you got to change your name.
Yeah.
Of course, then I would be like, why would you be stupid enough to marry him for the third time? Because apparently the first 2 you couldn't make it work. Why would you want another round?
What I'm thinking on this one, it has to do with gold digging women. Taking back, and once she runs out of alimony money, and okay, I'll take you back. Stays married long enough to get alimony, divorcing, runs out of alimony, marries him again. That's the only thing I could think of.
Does the state have alimony?
Well, that would be a good question to ask.
Yeah, see, I really would like to know the whys.
In Louisiana, who hasn't ever pulled the prank of calling up the local pizza shop and having a pizza delivered to your mortal enemy?
Or like 25 of them.
It's illegal to do that in Louisiana.
Well, used to, you could. Because they didn't take your debit card over the phone. And it was like, no, they'll pay for it at the door. Ask for so-and-so, and they'll give you the money.
Exactly. They call it a harassment. It's considered harassment. It falls under their harassment law. So you can be jailed for up to a year and or a $500 fine.
How embarrassing would that be? Be like in jail, and you got some pretty rough people in there, and they're going to ask you, so what you in here for?
Yeah.
Called up and ordered pizza.
Had it sent over to this guy's house.
Yeah, like, how embarrassing is that? I'd have to make up something. Make me at least sound a little bit tougher.
Exactly. Stole $50 worth of gas, or I don't know. I'm not good at thinking on my feet. Gonna go back up to New England.
Okay.
In Maine.
Maine. Stealing somebody's lobster?
No.
Nope.
It's illegal to park in front of the Dunkin' Donuts stores.
Oh gosh. Heaven forbid. I want to know now how many parking lots are actually in the front of the Dunkin' Donuts now. Because if it is, everybody's breaking the law.
Somebody get a hold of Stephen King. Be like, Stephen.
Yeah. Do you even have a Dunkin' Donuts there? Is the parking lot in the front or back?
So this law was brought in because up there they really love their Dunkin' Donuts. And the chain is a hot spot, and the parking lot can turn into a mega traffic jam.
Well, I can understand that because you're trying to park, but yet people are trying to go through the drive-through, and you're trying to do it all in the same parking area.
Maybe that's why the new coffee place here, Scooters, is just drive-through only.
It could be, but donut shops. I don't know. You'd think people want to go in, but people don't go in and eat like that no more. That's got to be an old rule law.
Right. In Maryland.
Okay.
This one is specifically towards a town. Specifically in Baltimore.
Okay.
Sleeveless shirts are banned in public parks. So no tank tops. No spaghetti straps. You gotta have sleeves.
Okay. Why?
It doesn't say.
Oh my gosh.
It does not say.
Oh my gosh. It depends. When was this initiated or into whatever law? Does it tell you that what year?
No, ma'am. You definitely won't like this one if you're a fan of muscle tees. In Baltimore, it's considered park rule violations to be in a public park with a sleeveless shirt. Yes, even if you're out for a run.
I wonder if it denotes something bad or it's showing too much skin. Like,
Right.
what's the thought process behind these things? And what is the process of making a law like that in a state?
Exactly.
It seems like an awful lot of work for people not to have to wear,
Well, what else do our lawmakers have to do?
Really?
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts.
That's easier to say than spell. It's illegal to be a fortune teller without a license. And you have to live in Massachusetts for a year before you can apply for said license.
Okay.
Now, of course, if you're a good enough fortune teller, you already knew all this.
So. Okay, what about those ones that so they wouldn't be able to if you open up a business, I'm thinking.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Because I'm like, nobody's got to know. That makes more sense.
It was designed to help keep fraud down.
Then people. Okay.
Moving on.
People. Hey, that you can read the future.
Yeah. What am I thinking right now?
Oh, I was going to go for the blanket. Somebody with long, dark brown hair.
Oh my gosh. You're real. Well, it's like, remember when we did the history of the Ouija board?
Yeah.
And the guy that wrote out the patent for it, he said, okay, um, if you can tell me my last name, if that board can tell me my last name, I will give you the patent. And of course, his name was nowhere in his office or anything. And the board started spelling out his last name. And it wasn't like Smith or Jackson, or it was like Schmuckatelli or some kind of weird last name like that.
Yeah.
And within 15 minutes, they had their patent. You know, folks in Michigan really like their cars.
Yes.
And if you're trying to sell one, you better do it Monday through Saturday, because on Sunday it is illegal to sell cars in Michigan.
Oh, pray tell why.
It was enacted back in 1953, and it's for religious reasons.
I was going to say, I bet it is so people have the day off.
It is, they placed it in their law books stating that that time is better spent with family, friends, and at church.
There you go.
In Minnesota,
Minnesota.
this also has to do with cars.
Okay.
Dirty tires are banned, so there's no mudding in Minnesota. Or if you do, you better wash them off before you get on the highway. It is considered a public nuisance to deposit mud, dirt, or other substance on streets or highways.
Are they talking about winter? Because that's kind of like you can't avoid.
Right. You better carry a bucket of water and a scrub brush with you.
I think just did it. Okay. Okay. Whatever. I'm sure at some point in time when these were being constructed or thought about, there was a huge reason why. There was a practical reason why. I'm gonna hope.
Exactly.
I mean, gosh.
Travel on down south again to Mississippi.
Hi, Hunter.
Hey, Hunter. Hey, Nicole. This is also a newish rule enacted in 2013. Nutrition laws, labels, it's on food packages, drinks, they cannot be enforced as after the signing of this law. Matter of fact, lawmakers barred towns from forcing restaurants to include nutrition information, calorie counts on menus. The bill is known as the anti-Bloomberg bill. Also bans communities from requiring restaurants to limit portion sizes, so you can go as big as you want,
Holy cow.
and you cannot be questioned for it.
Huh. Are there places that actually, like,
Well, McDonald's doesn't supersize anymore, so if you want a supersize order of fries, probably go to Mississippi and get them.
oh, okay. All right. I wasn't even thinking of
You
that,
want to go on
but
that route?
well, I mean, you can go to restaurants where the portions are big, and then you go to a different restaurant and the portions are smaller. Is that why? I think
I bet
maybe
so. I bet so.
they're trying to limit that portion.
Missouri has made a law that bans bear wrestling.
Oh my gosh! And these are the people that founded America, like. But I can see why.
It's part of their Animal Cruelty Violations Act.
Yes. When was this done?
1978.
It took them till 1978 for people to realize that you should not wrestle a bear.
Yes.
It took them that long.
Yes.
I'm
How long
thinking.
did it take Michael Vick to learn he shouldn't raise dogs to fight?
I'm not even going to go down that road.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, like, if you're stupid enough to wrestle a bear, and I'm not talking like a zoo bear.
Yeah, I'm talking about wild bear.
Like you out walking and here it is, and you want to be like, I can wrestle this bear. You're dumb enough to get your head knocked off. Go for it. I mean, this is your stupid luck. But it took till 78.
Yeah.
How many dumb people wrestle bears?
Right.
Because I can do it. Yeah.
Going back up towards the colder states.
Maybe they should talk to those. Sorry.
Montana. It's illegal to give a rat as a gift. In fact, it is illegal to raise, sell, or give away rats anywhere in the state of Montana, except for as food for reptiles,
What bird?
birds of prey, or
Oh, okay.
both.
Don't know that I want some swallow coming along and want to eat a rat. I have questions. What kind of bird is that?
Well, if you got questions over that, you're really going to have questions over Nebraska's law. You can't get married if you have a venereal disease.
Oh, Lord.
Well, they don't want it spread.
No, I'm just. Do you have to have a test before you get married? What year was this enacted?
It doesn't give a year.
Huh.
It just says that a person afflicted with a venereal disease, in quotations, that's a nice way of saying STDs, cannot get married in the state of Nebraska.
First of all, if you have an STD, you need to get right. Like, you need to get yourself healthy.
Word.
Oh gosh. Be like, hold up. We filling out our marriage certificate stuff. Well, right over here. Go check this doctor out because he's gonna see if you got anything oozing. And then we'll decide if you can get married or not.
Exactly.
Like, I don't know if they even still do this to this day.
I have no idea. I don't know. New Jersey.
New Jersey!
Rough state. Lots of, I hate it when I go blank. Especially when it's recording, the time's clicking.
Okay,
Mafia.
Okay. Oh, what, is New Jersey the only place for that?
Well, no, but I mean,
okay.
that's what they're known for. Jimmy Hoffa and all that, the Iceman.
Okay.
So in New Jersey, it is against the law while committing a crime for you to wear a bulletproof vest if you're the one committing the crime.
Yes.
So criminals are barred from wearing bulletproof vests in New Jersey. This law came into effect in 1999. And yeah.
Why?
If caught, if caught, a person could be charged separately for it. So you could get a charge of burglary and wearing a bulletproof vest while committing a burglary.
So, in essence, what they're saying is, like, if you're going to commit a crime, don't wear something that's going to protect you from other people shooting you in the chest.
Yes.
Okay. There has to be a reason, Mike. Why do states and who in the world is on this committee?
Right.
I want to be on a committee like this.
Wait till you hear this one.
Oh my gosh. I'm going to be embarrassed when it comes to Texas.
Yes, you are. In New Mexico.
Okay.
And I don't know what type of test they came up for this one.
Oh gosh.
Idiots are banned from voting. It goes on.
No, the problem is they have not enacted this law, and that's why they have problems.
It goes on to say that also insane persons convicted of a felonious or infamous crime are also banned from voting.
Well, that should be a mute point. Like, you have a felony.
Yeah.
You ain't the brightest, so no, we're not going to let you vote. However, what is their definition of an idiot?
This is what I would like to know. How do you test if a person's an idiot or not? Do they have to act like Pee Wee Herman when they're coming to the polling stations?
I mean, like, I'm so confused. Oh my gosh.
Well, let's travel on over to North Carolina.
Okay.
Hey, Seth Stewart, how are you, buddy?
Okay, here we go.
It's illegal to play bingo while drunk. How is he supposed to play bingo?
Exactly, that's what makes it fun.
Right?
Damn over there! Like, and, oh my gosh, out of all of the things, like,
In Ohio,
okay,
it's illegal to sell dyed chickens. Some multicolored chickens. You can't do that.
but you remember as a little one, we could get those purple ones and blue
Yes, ma'am.
ones, pink ones. It's not healthy.
It is not. Next,
I gotta go with that one.
I agree with it. You know, it's just weird
Yep,
that you have to make a law
I know.
saying it.
Mm,
Another one close to home and would have been close to Toad's heart in Oklahoma.
okay.
It's illegal to trip a horse.
Who was the stupid one that did that?
Well, apparently, Sarah Brahmin, we are talking Oklahoma.
What year was this?
It is prohibited to promote, engage in, or be employed at a horse tripping event in Oklahoma after it was ruled unlawful due to animal cruelty. So apparently, horse tripping was a huge event because they would hire people to do it.
Why would you want to trip a horse that can weigh up to 2,000 pounds? That's a really big horse.
That's a really big
And it's going to hurt when it lands on you.
Uh-huh.
And it could break their leg. And then you have to shoot the horse. I mean, like, what's the point?
It's no win all the way around.
Stupid people.
In Oregon.
That's my ancestors right there. No wonder we have problems in our family.
Right. In Oregon.
Okay.
I don't know anybody in Oregon. I would like to go there. I want to watch the Goonies. Oh, my cousin Tanya lives in Oregon.
My niece, too.
Oh, that's right. We'll go see your niece. I can, my cousin.
She's probably cooler anyway.
Yeah. If we go there, we can't go into a cemetery to go hunting because it's illegal.
Dude, if I was a deer or something, that's exactly where I would want to live.
Oh, you can't shoot me here?
Yep. Like, hey, Miss Smith. I'm going to protect you.
Going back to psychics. In Pennsylvania,
Hey.
you break the law if you pay a psychic. It is illegal in Pennsylvania to engage in things like fortune telling, tarot card reading, or the like for monetary compensation. You'll have to go elsewhere if you want to do this as a living.
I like it. I like it. That's Quaker country.
Yes, ma'am. Back up to is Rhode Island part of New England?
I'm going to say yes. It's right there by Massachusetts.
Another one about horses.
Oh, Rhode Island isn't even that big.
It's illegal to race a horse on the highways in Rhode Island.
Stupid people that actually did this.
Now, who in our youth didn't like playing a pinball machine?
Oh my gosh, I was never any good at it. I loved playing them.
I loved it. Matter of fact, I even have one on my phone. But in South Carolina, if you're under the age of 18, it is against the law to play pinball machines.
Because it's like a form of gambling, baby?
It has to do with, yeah.
Gambling?
Yep. Yes,
That's the only thing I can think, because it's like, what? Okay, yeah. I don't know.
South Dakota.
Okay.
It is illegal to fall asleep inside a cheese factory. Not the restaurant, but actually where they make cheese. In Tennessee.
I just don't understand. Does the whole state work at a cheese factory?
No, so this would just be directed towards a select few. And They apparently, maybe somebody pulled an all-nighter and got blended up in with
some cheese.
with the fine sharp cheddar.
This is what I'm thinking. Like, ew, ew.
In Tennessee. Hey, sis. Hey, Robert. I don't know if y'all have Netflix or not, but please do not share your password because that's illegal in Tennessee.
Isn't it? Oh my gosh. Okay.
In Texas, you've been waiting on this one.
I'm gonna be like, man, we stupid.
You might be have your stomach turned a bit.
Oh my gosh.
Here in the fine, great state of Texas, it is illegal to sell a human eyeball. I'm looking at you, Charles Lowry. Literally. I'll crack me up.
Okay.
You cannot sell a human eye. Other human organs and tissues are included in this law also.
Oh, okay. I was like, so basically we have to leave the eyeballs alone, but we can sell every other part of you.
Such as the kidney, liver, heart, lung, pancreas, and bone. But you can sell hair or blood.
Oh my god. I'm Googling this.
In Utah, beautiful state. We've been to Salt Lake City in the past.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in a boxing match, it is illegal to bite somebody. It is illegal to bite your opponent. Maybe that's where Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield had their fight, where Mike Tyson bit off half his ear. I don't know why they had to put it in the law books, but it's in the law books.
What state is this?
Utah.
Yeah, I'm speechless. Like, why? Maybe that's the easiest part to bite off. Ugh, that's disgusting.
In Vermont, back up to New England,
Okay.
it is illegal for women to wear false teeth unless they have their husband's approval. So if you're a single woman or a widow woman, you're just out of luck. Also, and this is just a spare one. This wasn't in the article that I found, or not a spare one, but an extra one. In Vermont, it is not illegal to go nude in public, as long as it's not for a sexually gratification reason.
So
If
you
it's
can
like a
just
protest,
shuck your clothes and you be all right?
But you can't shuck your clothes in public. You have to leave your house nude.
You have to leave your house naked and you can walk around.
Yep.
I want to know who has tried this.
Somebody
Somebody can try it and let us know how it happens.
Right. It just made me think of the movie White Christmas, and did Bing Crosby shut his clothes in his room and just take off walking?
Hopefully not during the winter, but
Well, they didn't have any snow. You remember it?
I was
Right.
general.
In general. In the great state of Washington. Hey, David. It is illegal to attach a vending machine to a utility pole. So, David, don't.
Desperate people.
Isn't it, though?
Like, can they just come and, like, chop down the utility pole? I mean, like, who has done this stupid stuff?
Right.
Oh,
West Virginia.
all right.
In West Virginia, it is illegal to wear any type of hat in a movie theater.
It's like common sense.
What?
People behind you could be bigger than you and they could beat the crap out of you.
Exactly.
Like, and it's just rude to wear a hat inside the house.
It is.
In a building. And
this comes from back in the Old West days, and it just never was removed from their law books.
There you go. Like, Old West days they had movies?
Well, they had think of the movie Tombstone, and they're having that live theater type deal. Yes, ma'am. Wisconsin. Everybody loves dairy from Wisconsin. Mm-hmm. Butter substitutes are banned unless you have permission, like say doctor's note, can't really have dairy, lactose intolerance, so you must have, can't believe this isn't butter, or some of the other
So,
products.
so like in stores, they keep all that under lock and key, and you gotta like push the button for help.
Be like,
Come get it.
hey, I got my prescription here. I need to have this type of
lactose milk here.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. I get it because it's a cheese state, but
Yeah. We've been to Wyoming.
yes. Is
Beautiful
it illegal
state.
to have a buffalo? Touch a buffalo?
Doesn't say anything about that.
Good, because there's people who have buffaloes there. So anyway,
Yeah.
I want one.
But if you have a building that costs $100,000 or more,
Okay.
you must display at least one pricey art, either a painting, a statue, or something that,
Denotes that this is a fancy building and you will
Yes,
use your fancy manners.
exactly. New buildings. So new buildings. This isn't like so you go in, you buy one that's $100,000. You don't have to do it. This new buildings. 1% of the funds must be allocated to art. This law was enacted thanks to NASAA's mission to strengthen the state art agencies.
My lord. Oh my gosh. What if it's the art like the dogs playing pool?
Hey, as long as it's pricey,
Hey,
that's all it says.
hey, I've seen some of those. They could be expensive. You know, the
Yes.
velvet ones?
Right.
Those velvet rugs, you remember those?
I do remember those. Those were pretty cool, weren't they?
Hmm?
I
We
do.
didn't have that one. We
We
had one with a big quail or something on it.
we had a velvet, and this had to have been late '70s because Nicole wasn't born yet, and they hadn't built the den yet either. So yeah, this had to have been '76, '77. Um, the background was black, and it depicted a bullfighter, and he was
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. I was mad at that one.
We had that one hanging in our living room.
I did not appreciate that one.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was gross.
It freaked me out. Like,
We were killing the bull.
yeah, I was
We're
like,
rude.
I was 6, 7 years old, and I remember thinking that's not nice. So,
But it's art, man.
but it's art. My bibliography this week comes from goodhousekeeping.com. 50 craziest state laws from around the United States.
There you go.
And Wikipedia. Crazy laws.
But people can get in there and change that stuff.
I know, but it was confirmed through here also, through the same article. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Cool.
So, Teach, what was my grade for this week?
Well, because it's in honor of Toad, that is your grade.
Toad?
No.
Oh.
It's in honor of someone, so the weird laws. Because otherwise it would be a C.
I'm going to say I passed. Hey, as long as I pass, my record of 62 weeks now of having a passing grade continues.
Yep.
And that's what matters.
There you go. All right.
Classmates, we are about to draw for next week's.
Yep.
I about jumped the gun.
I knew it was like, oh my gosh. Usually I forget. All right. This one is true crime.
Okay.
Ooh, let's do a gory.
Well, I've got a couple in mind.
Like lots of ins and outs and like, wait a second. Them people really exist?
One of the ones I have in mind has a huh in it, but it's not really gory, but it's got a huh.
Okay.
So, all right. Well, Sheryl and family, we hope over the last hour that y'all been able to smile. Know that Toad loved y'all to no end. and his love doesn't end. I always remember how whenever I would see him and I would say, "Hey, how's Sheryl and the kids?" First thing he would do is smile, and then he'd have this twinkle in his eye and know that y'all were loved, and y'all are still loved. I know y'all have multitude of friends, but if you need teacher or I, we're here for you.
Absolutely.
Classmates, we'll see you next week. Take care of each other and let folks in your life know how much you care about them.
Exactly. Absolutely. Class is dismissed.
I'm gonna learn how to do that one of these days.